What's up, guys and gals? We're back here again for Bleach. 1000-Year Blood War Arc, episode 35, Don't Chase a Shadow. So, I like that they're doing this. I like that they're going to split up the fight, and we're not just going to focus 2 episodes on this fight, 2 episodes on that fight, because that is the difference. We're skipping over some of Volume 70, and we're jumping straight into Volume 71. We'll have to be jumping back and forth. Same with the Hashwall backstory and stuff like that. We're trying to concurrently showcase that these fights are happening simultaneously, that they're happening in real time, sort of idea. I'm sure once again, it worked in the manga just fine, but it is nice to jump away, even as cool as the Mayuri versus Pernida fight is. It's cool to jump away to the following, grabbed the wrong one. The following volume, Volume 71, and Shunsui, the captain, the head captain currently of the Gotei 13, and his fight against Lily Barrow. Now, there is, from what I could gather, though they sort of, stretched it out a little bit, there was no added scenes, other than the fact that they take out the whole "where was Grimjaw, what did you do?" because of course Ichigo shows up against Askin, that kind of idea. And there was definitely a more, even though they showcase it in Volume 71 when Shunsui finally does, you guessed it, Bankai. He went Bankai. This is when Kubo was, around this time, around the time of Volume 70 into 71, is when Kubo was starting to feeling very pressured, very sick, very under the weather, and he started rushing 1000-Year Blood War Arc. So from here on out, after we get through about Volume 70, 71, I imagine we're going to see a little bit more, just like with the Renji versus Uryu stuff. I imagine we're going to see some major pacing changes in that regard, because this is where it was it wasn't a Super Saiyan bargain sale, it was a Bankai bargain sale is what happened. You get a Bankai, everybody gets a Bankai. But in this particular case, yes, the Bankai, all the reactions from people were shown and thus, but the effect, the amount of just showcasing that spiritual pressure, I don't think they did it. See, Kubo used to do this really cool showcasing of spiritual pressure in the Soul Society arc that he slowly but surely got away from, like the intimidation factor. Byakuya Kuchi used it, Kenpachi used it, Aizen used it, a lot of people used it. We sort of got away from that. And here, though it's not fully brought back, it's definitely handled far better than in Volume 71 in the chapter, where it just seems like everyone's like, oh, I sense him. You know what I mean? More like a Star Wars thing, like, a presence I sense. Like, wow, he's going all out. Fantastic. No, but you know what the thing is? Other than the wide eyes, you would have no indication that, from the manga, other than the wide eyes, you'd have no indication that this was like massive covering, like, holy shit, this is one of the strongest. This is Shunsui Kyoraku's Bankai has just been released. The thing he didn't even pull out against Aizen has finally been released, you know what I mean? So, crazy that, and they do a phenomenal job, even though they don't. I wish they had brought back the black lines and the doom and everyone like felt the pressure, but what they do instead is just showcase this Bankai is all encompassing. I just covered the whole damn palace. This is the power and the range and the reach of my Bankai. Everyone just felt that I went Bankai. That's how powerful my Bankai is. Everybody knows when I unleash it. So absolutely so cool and stuff like that. As I said, there are not any changes really, other than, as I said, the Askin Grimjow Ichigo exchange. Other than that, there's not really, from what I could tell from rereading 71, there doesn't seem to be any major changes, other than the fact that they just take their time with it. They take their time with it. This is the fight. It's awesome. And Lily Barrow, of course, believes himself to be God's messenger. He was the first Quincy granted the script of X. He started with X. I mean, X is cool, but, X gonna give it to you, I get it, but it's just like, kind of random. And why did it, it's so weird to me that, yeah, he's part of the Royal Guard, but it's so weird to me that he is not the right-hand man. like he's God's messenger and all this stuff. But it's just, yeah, it would always weirded me out. But definitely a worthy opponent for Shunsui. And just the way, he's playing with his swords and he's playing with his Shikai and playing with the games and stuff like that. And then Libaro's just like, well, this gun is actually my bow. I can constantly repair it, heal it, whatever I have to do, no matter how many times you cut it. And here is the X-axis, and you cannot escape and all this stuff. Nothing can damage me. Nothing can hurt me. And then, once again, other than, and we're going to get to it because we end this episode out with Shunsui apparently victory. He's been hit by the X-axis, he's bleeding out, and he's even bitching about that. He's like, it sucks being so strong. Like, goddamn, I can't even pass out because, a normal person would, but I'm, man, oh man, oh man. You know what I mean? So he's just like, yeah. And this goes to show that while he's monologuing to himself and talking to himself about this, it's, because I think there is at least one little added line, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't recall it, and either way, whether it's in the manga or not, it's a really nice line where when Shunsui leaves the group, and Shinji even remarks and says, hey, what would Uketake say? That part was definitely in the manga, but then it was the whole idea of this is what it means to be the head captain of the Gotei 13. You have to take all the burden of all your offices, all your officers, and everything that they encumber onto your shoulders. So this is a really nice line, and I'm pretty sure it's not in here. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not in here, but it does say. You know what? I'll check for it. Let's see. Oh no, it is here. It is here because to bear the life of the officers is the captain. I think it was just handled a little slower, and it's something I missed. But yeah, it is here in the manga for the second I chapter. It is here in the manga volume. So once again, nothing really changed because there was nothing wrong with this exchange, and it did work. It did work extremely well because it just goes to show you that when it's a nice parallel for when Shunsui is there, like, oi, man, like I'm working so hard. For a change, and I'm bleeding, and man, I don't want to be at work today. You know what I mean? But he's just like, and the idea is that he's not allowed to pass out. He's not allowed to lose because if he loses, we saw what happened when Yamamoto lost and stuff like that. And since we understand his role as head captain, he doesn't have the option to lay down and die. He doesn't have the option to pass out due to blood loss. He's got to keep going. He's got to keep working. And this is before he unleashes his Bankai, but it's a really nice little scene there. And it's in the manga, obviously, and I just checked. The one that sort of correlates together with them is in the manga as well. But it's just really nice, and the visuals of the Bankai are stunning. They're absolutely phenomenal, and Shunsui, to anybody else, I will say, the plot problem with this, getting back to that, is that this should have worked. I'm sorry, I know I know it's nice to tie up where Nanao came from, why Shunsui wears the female kimono, why he's got the pins in his hair, where's Nanao's Zanpakuto, blah, 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 blah. That's all fine and dandy. That's all fantastic. And the fact of the matter is that, and it still doesn't completely work out because it's sort of like that's the point of him having the duel because there's no such thing as dual Zanpakuto. There's not supposed to be. There's no such thing. And Kyoraku, it's implied here that apparently he really liked himself a lot in his Ohana form, and they sort of, yeah. So, I mean, it depends on how this sort of came about, I suppose. And I mean, yes, Uketake has the other dual-wielding Zanpakuto as well, but there's other reasons for that as well. See, that's the thing. There's a reason everyone just has one. You know what I mean? So, in this regard, and Uketake is actually attached by a chain. So it's, sort of, I mean, yes, it's, two blades, but nonetheless. So, I'm just really glad that they ended this episode with the Bankai being the main attraction. I was worried they were going to end it with the whoosh, which is about to come. It's going to come. But by the looks of the next episode, we're going to jump back to, Baby Hold My Hand Part 2, which is we're going to continue the Pernida Mayuri fight, which should be nice. Though at the beginning of this episode, we did see that Mayuri was having struggles with his match, that was not exactly one and done. So there is that too. Yeah, I just, like a lot of people, that Bankai is so powerful, and I believe Kubo even came out and said that even Aizen, had Shunsui not been caught unawares, and had nobody else been in the vicinity, because once again, you got to remember, Shunsui can't control. It's sort of like Shinji's Bankai. It's very circumstantial. It's very dangerous. Shunsui would have to get Aizen alone in a 100-meter radius and be like, all right, Bankai, now you're gonna die. And I believe Kubo did come out years ago and say, like, because somebody asked, like, would Shunsui's Bankai worked against Aizen? And they're like, and he was like, yeah, Shunsui could have gotten rid of Aizen, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a whole thing. And because this Bankai is like just the description, and there's a little more description in the manga than here in the anime, at least the subtitles. But between the ocean, between the sickness, between the final act, like between the all my wounds appear on your body, neither one of us can die, and the whole ocean thing, it's not really explained well in the subtitles, but it's like, we're going to run out of Ryatsu, and you can't escape here until your Ryatsu is drained. That's just not a thing. So it's just like, if the rules of the Bankai are followed, and once again, Lilybaro escaping this is just, yeah. I mean, once again, I do spoiler reviews, so sorry if you guys thought that was the end of the fight for anime-only viewers, but yeah, no, this Bankai is absolutely got to be one of the most deadly. There's a reason he only used it once, and against such a powerful, like, seemingly invincible opponent. Like, this would work probably against Gerard. This would work against just about everybody, but for some reason, so... Anyways, no, I really liked the episode. I thought it was handled well, and that just goes to show you that even though we're adapting Thousand Year Blood War Arc, and there were issues with it, certain volumes and certain chapters and certain fights, panel by panel, works just fine. Like, because there was nothing wrong with it the first time. I like that they're going back and they're changing stuff around. They're changing where scenes end up. They're changing the pacing of some things, and they're adding some scenes. But for this one, they looked at it and said, this is pretty good dialogue. This is a pretty good fight. This is how the fight should go. Let's not change anything and just copy for copy of 71. And guess what? It worked. It worked just fine. And nothing wrong with that. Not a thing wrong with that. And it was, once again, animated absolutely beautifully and stuff like that. I love the... colorization of the Bankai. I love the look of the Bankai. I love just the way it was animated and everything. It was handled extremely well. Just very well done. And yeah, so episode 35 was fantastic. And of course, Shunsui is one of my favorite characters, so it was really nice to see him get a full action, be the badass, be the head captain, and the fact that they ended the episode with technically him on top. You know what I mean? So that was nice. That was nice. They could have ended it with a big cliffhanger of the... But they didn't, so I'm actually kind of grateful for that. I was waiting for it, and it didn't come, and I was like, alright, cool. So, anyways, that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see you guys back here for episode 36, where we can probably continue a little bit of this fight, just like this episode did with the Mayuri fight, but the majority of it is likely going to finish off the Nemu, Mayuri, and Pernida fight in episode 36. So, look forward to that. I am, for sure. And we'll see you guys back here next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.